There's one set in the Sword and Shield era I haven't really talked about much, and that is Pokemon Celebrations. We talk a lot about all the other main sets, Crown Zenith, all the stuff is doing very well, but what about Celebrations, right? Celebrations is a set which everybody absolutely loved. It's got that 151 feeling to it. It hasn't done very well, but it hasn't done very well at all since its release, especially with the single card prices and the sealed product. If you bought into Celebrations, ouch, that's all I'm going to say. So today we take a look at TCG Player and PokeJace at all things Pokemon Celebrations. Let's get into it. Alright, this is the last time we're going to be talking about Sword and Shield for a while. We've been talking about Sword and Shield era sets for a decent amount, right? Yeah, we know Sword and Shield's doing great, Sword and Shield's doing great, we all know it's doing good, but not everything's doing good, of course, as we're about to look at today with Celebrations. Arguably one of the best sets that's done poorly. You know, it's kind of a weird one, right? When Celebrations came out, everyone went absolutely crazy. You know, falling head over heels for it. It came out during the pandemic. It was still lined up and set up for success. Why is it flopped? Why is this set not done anything? You know, sealed product has barely moved. We'll be taking a look at it today, and you know, we'll be looking at whether or not a reprint down the line for 151 will give the same fate as Celebrations. Who knows? You know, history may repeat itself. We talked about history repeat itself regarding the OARTs the other day. History may repeat itself regarding Celebrations and 151. They're very similar sets. They both feed on nostalgia, and we'll see what happens with 151. I mean, it's performing strong right now. Reprints could be coming, and it could get hammered. So now we'll be taking a look at Celebrations and see what's going on. Okay, first things first, we'll be taking a look at the regular ETB of Pokemon Celebrations. Now, I do feel like the ETB is just a good all-round product, right? You get like 15 booster packs in here, which is a decent amount, right? 10 Celebrations and 5, well, poor Sword and Shield era sets. They are. They're pretty weak ones, so that's one problem there has, of course. But this ETB has done barely anything. In fact, it's been dropping over the past year. You can pick these up over here in the UK for around about 70 or so an ETB. It just hasn't done much, right? Celebrations had a massive amount of release and had reprints and God knows what else going for it. Now, a lot of people said to me, Jace, you know, it could start to climb once we hit Pokemon 30th anniversary. And yeah, absolutely, it could. But right now, it's not really doing much. You could say now's a good time to pick up if it's falling. Yeah, I do agree on that as well. But overall, it is a poor performing ETB. But if you don't have this, there are better ones out there like Crown Zenith, for example. Then we got the Pokemon Center ETB for Celebrations. This one's done a little bit better than the normal ETB. Now, I always say Pokemon Center is really good as an option to invest in pretty much any set, right? You know, whether it's just a normal set or a holiday set. The Celebrations Pokemon Center ETB has done well. I do expect it to climb in the future, but right now it is falling. We go back over the past year and we have seen it fall from the high of $120 or so down to around 100. Now, I did pick these up myself around 65 when they first came out on the Pokemon Center website, so I have made a bit of a profit. But to be honest, this needs to be long term. I kind of feel like a lot of Celebrations, you kind of have to really hold on to it for a while now for it to really see good gains, because there's just so much of the set around. Then we look at the UPC, which was like the big, you know, top investment thing to buy. I remember loads of people doing videos at the time talking about how amazing this product was. This is going to be the best investment to get this, that, and the other. Wasn't the case, right? If you bought it at retail, yeah, fair enough, you would have done well, but there was so difficult to get in retail. Scalpers left, right, and center. It was very, very difficult, and we're looking around over $360 for this, but it has been falling from a high of over 410. So now I wouldn't, like, even a year ago, even I would probably say even go back maybe 2 years ago, even during 2022, I really wouldn't have suggested picking this up, right? I kind of felt like something like the Charizard UPC would have been better just because the entry point is so low and the sets you get in there are very good. Yeah, Celebration's okay, but it hasn't really done much. And this is, for me, more of a collection piece, probably more than an investment piece. But yeah, this is one where it really has struggled to gain traction. The fact it's now falling as well. I would love to have one in my collection, just to have one, and that would be it. But I wouldn't go out trying to get loads of these or anything like that. It just, you have better spend your money elsewhere. And unfortunately for the UPC, it's kind of bad. Right, now let's take a look at the set itself. I mean, looking at obviously the classic collection, because that's where the chase cards are. Of course, you've got the Golden Mew as well from the main set, but we're looking at the classic collection. This is what people are really, you know, going for, especially when it comes to things like the Charizard. But this set is full of nostalgia. It's a lot of old school cards and old school artworks that we remember of years past. 151 is slightly different in the fact it does have new art, but it does pull on those same nostalgia strings as Celebration does. And the single cards of Celebrations has been pretty poor. I mean, yeah, we have Charizard here, sitting at $85. It is doing, you know, reasonably well. You know, that's a decent amount of money, 85. But look how many is in PSA 10. Over 18,000 in a PSA 10. That is absolutely bonkers. It is so heavily graded, and in a 10, it's fetching $168 price tag. I mean, that's still double than what it is normally. And then the PSA 9, so looking over 9,000 of them at around $96. So let's take a look at the raw price first. So the raw price of this has kind of been up and down. I mean, TCG player and the average market price has been pretty steady and stable, but not really doing much in growth wise over the past year. I mean, it did dip below $70 and it's starting to come back up a little bit. We go back and we look at the PSA 10 price of this big boy. Over the past 6 months, it was around $200, and now it's slowly going down. I mean, there's just so many. I actually think this might be up there for one of the most graded cards in the Sword and Shield era, especially in a PSA 10. This is insane, absolutely insane. I've still never pulled this card. This card is this one of the Golden Mew are the only two I'm missing from my Celebrations Master set. But yeah, you know, it's just one of these things that is just so heavily graded and so heavily pulled. Then we have the Umbreon Gold Star. I actually like this one. This is actually one of my favorite cards from the set. We're looking at $60 for a PSA 10. Raw price is pretty cheap, right? 22 and 16. Okay, right. So the third most expensive card in the set. Not the best, but a decent amount in the PSA 10. It's, you know, 6,500. And then PSA 9 is pretty brutal. So let's take a look at the raw price first. Take a look at the raw price. So raw price over the past 6 months is pretty much stayed stable. I mean, you've had the market price jump up to above 20. But it's pretty much been steady. I mean, the market price was slightly above the TCG player price, which is actually quite interesting to see. But then we look at the PSA 10 price, and this one going up, I guess. I mean, it dropped to $28 for a PSA 10, and now it's gone back up to 60. So it's been doing okay. So it's climbing back up in the graded. So it's not as bad as expected. The Mega Rayquaza, though, has actually been climbing. This one, as far as I remember, never used to be like this high up. I say high up, it's not that expensive, right? We're looking at $10. But you know, PSA 10, you're looking at $36 for this one. It's just not really good value. Raw price, it was sat around 10 for the longest time, did dip to about 7, and it's gone back up slightly recently, so that's not too bad. And then PSA 10, pretty much steady, right? Been roughly around that $30 mark, $40 mark for the longest time, so not really moved much. Shiny Magikarp, the fish, I actually had quite a few of these. I think I had this in a PSA 10 at one point, and I think I sold it. I had it in a PSA 10, I sold it in a PSA 10, and I think I got like 80, 90, something like that. But look at it now, raw price $10, PSA 10 43. So I'm glad I offloaded and shifted that one when I did, because that was kind of brutal. But PSA 10, yeah, you can see the PSA 10 price even over the past 6 months dropping from 55, slowly trickling down over time. Let me look at the raw price. Well, it hasn't even done anything. I mean, it's been bouncing around $10 for the longest time. Blastoise, again, another big card that everybody liked, and it's just so cheap. Nearly 13,000 in a PSA 10. I actually graded mine with ace grading at the time. It did get an ace 10, and I think I sold mine, I think it was like 55, something like that. So it's pretty much near enough the same as a PSA 10. But yeah, pretty brutal. Again, very heavily graded. The raw price of this card was around $7, and it's slowly dipping down a little bit with the market price above TCG player price. And then the PSA 10 pretty much stayed steady over the past 6 months, which is not the best. And then yeah, look, if you look at the rest of the cards in the set, we're looking at $5 or less for the classic collection. It is not the best set to open. You know, apart from outside the Charizard and the Mew, you know, it takes $161 to buy the classic collection. And then if we look at the main set, it costs a whopping $32 to complete. So you can complete the set for under $200. I mean, what's that? That's like 3 ETBs. You can complete the set for the cost of 3 ETBs. It is really poor. I mean, even the Golden Mew, I might just buy these cards. These are so cheap now for me to complete my set. I might as well just buy them. They're so cheap, right? $20 odd, 20, yeah, 36 on card markers, a little bit higher. PSA 10, look at that, $51. You know, nearly 9,000 graded in a 10. That is nuts. We go back and we take a look at the raw price. The raw price has been falling, was around $30, and look at it, whee, started to go down there, which is actually pretty brutal. And then look at the PSA 10 price, was around $90, and it's nearly dropped 50% over the past 6 months in a PSA 10. There you have it, guys. That's what's been going on with celebrations. It's harsh of what's been going on. You could have gone back 2 years or more and you would have said this set was an absolute home run. Invest, pick up everything you can. You can complete this set for less than $200. And on top of that, still product's not really moving, you know, going up in value. It might do in the future. Who knows? Yes, you could say when the 30th anniversary product or whatever that will be comes out, then you might see celebrations start to move. That'd be great if that's the case, if you do have any celebrations. For me, I just have 2 of the Pokemon Center ETBs, and that's it. I might get the UPC for a collection standpoint, but not for an invest standpoint. This is a set, for me personally, I will probably avoid. Now with 151, if it gets a reprint on the same scale as we've seen with other reprints of holiday sets, recent, you know, if history told us anything, it might struggle. It might struggle. Crown Zenith is doing pretty well, so that's one thing, you know, that we could look at and go, okay, well, 151 has that potential then. I do feel like 151 probably is better than Crown Zenith in some cases, maybe. I kind of feel like Crown Zenith is actually, I think Crown Zenith is better than 151, but 151 is an absolute powerhouse right now. We'll have to wait and see. But Poor Celebrations was a powerhouse when it came out, hugely popular. You know, supply definitely met demand. And look what's happened. Maybe it's fun to the video, guys, and you've enjoyed it. Make sure to smash that like button and make sure to subscribe for more Pokemon content. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments about Pokemon Celebrations. What do you think? I think it's kind of brutal. I do really think it's kind of brutal with celebrations. It looked like such a good set, and it is a good set. It's fun to open, but the value's just not there. If you want to know what's going on in the Pokemon market right now, then make sure to click the video on screen. And if you want more Pokemon content, guys, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Alright, guys, that is it from me in today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, you guys are legends, and I'll see you in the next one.